Is the pretend doctor mentally ill?
You pretend you're high, pretend you're bored, pretend you're anything just to be adored. You stupid girl, you stupid girl.
People whose income increases 20-fold when they log into YouTube. And gentlemen, welcome to the mccainisthroughx Refutation Station Part 2. Our first order of business is McStupid's amazing disappearing video entitled Exposed, the Kook Troop Kooks. I noticed shortly after I featured that video in my mccainisthroughx Refutation Station, you deleted it, Kathleen. No matter, anyone can see the screenshots in that vid. You can still see what she had up. Removing it didn't help her. Myself, as well as Jeremy Oyer, Mr. Libtrasher et al. Were in the tags. I guess this means you made it up, right, Kathleen? For all of us here, the board has received your concession, Kathleen, and we graciously accept it. We also have this whiny comment left on another user's channel. This user, the anonymous Aspie, came to my channel and said something about the pretend doctor. And McStupid doesn't like to be challenged. You can see from her comment she was very angry at being challenged and will not allow herself to be challenged on her channel. Look at her channel. There are no comments opposing her. She can't debate. Jeremy Oyer has her pretty paranoid right now. I'll let you find out for yourself why that is. But Kathleen is really paranoid about anybody that opposes her. And if anybody else sees her make any comments on your channel and you get into a debate with her, which I doubt, she'll try to get you to debate on one of her friends' channels. And she won't debate you on her channel, but if you get a comment from her, tell me and I'll save a screenshot of it. Might be able to use it against her later. McStupid also seems to think Alina Kagan is a hero. I challenged another loser to a debate on Kagan's qualifications. That user ran away from the challenge. Maybe mccainisthroughx will take it. Will you, Kathleen? Will you take me on that challenge? I doubt it. Our next piece of business is Kathleen's parroting of a flawed study that she doesn't directly link to. This is a trend when examining her work, which is largely cut and paste, stating that most prison inmates are Christians. One of my friends, JP Holding, debunked this back in December 2010 on his Tecton e-block, but it was gated, so I couldn't mention it in a video. He has now uploaded a video debunking the cut and paste claims of the pretend physician mccainisthroughx. Here are some of the flaws in short order, and the video, is on the screen. Number 1, it didn't include a survey of state and county prisoners. Number 2, it doesn't tell us anything about religious preference before being imprisoned. And please notice that preference and practice are two different things. Number 3, it doesn't account for conversions while in prison. 4, many prisoners, after all, they aren't there because they're upstanding citizens. Right, Jack? Many prisoners choose Christian as a preference because it may allow them to curry favor with prison staff or other inmates. Right, Jack? Number 5, most religious buildings have air conditioning. Number 6, they want a traditional burial after dying. That might be one of the reasons. 7, the sample size of federal prisons was pretty small. Other than that, it was a great study. All the details are in the vid on your screen. It is included in the links under the video as usual. We accept your concession on that as well, McStupid. Or you can take JP Holding on that. I doubt you'll do very well, but it'd be nice to see. Now let's shift gears to McStupid's hand-wringing over the poor Hussein Obama economy. For months, the pretend physician subjected us to incessant rants about how the Dow was up. The recession is over. We're all saved. Hussein has lifted the Dow out of its rut. Everything is okay. However, there's my cat looking for attention. However, even some of McStupid's friends urged her to make something up. In the back of their minds, they knew the stimulus had failed. So Kathleen started blaming those kooky blue dog Democrats. This statement was sent, it's on your screen right now, was sent to me by a user that wishes to remain anonymous. I'll give you a hint, Kathleen, they're on your friends list. However, the Blue Dogs weren't voting with the GOP, they voted with Hoyer and Pelosi most of the time. Pertaining to the stimulus, the unemployment rate of full and part-time workers was 14.7% in February 2009. Now, Christina Romer and Jared Bernstein told us that the unemployment rate would stay there and then go down. February 2009, 14.7% full and part-time worker unemployment. That's the month the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act became law. It was 15.9% in July 2011. Private non-farm payrolls stood at $110.260 million in February 2009. They were $108.922 million in May 2011. So you can see how the stimulus has failed. And Jared Bernstein is one of Hussein's crackpot economists, is now saying the unemployment rate will go no lower than 8%. That's the traditional rate. It's actually a lot higher. Go no lower. It just includes people who are... doesn't include people who have given up. No lower than 8% by the end of 2012. So he's not predicting rosy recovery here, if you can call it a recovery. Excuse me. I've already refuted another YouTube user on that. See the video on your screen. The following bills had the support of at least 75% of the Blue Dog Democrats, supposedly fiscally conservative. Over 75% of them, 75% or more, voted for the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac bailout, the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, which failed, and Cash for Clunkers, which was a clunker in and of itself. 63% of the Blue Dogs voted for TARP, 54% voted for unconstitutional Hussein Obamacare, and 74% voted for Hussein's budget extension back in March 2009. Of the 62 votes cast by Speaker Pelosi during the 111th Congress, as of October 2010, on economic issues, the Blue Dogs voted with her 80% of the time. Since the House Democrats have waived or ignored pay-go rules 26 times, the Blue Dogs voted with them 86% of the time. Back in September 2010, over 90% of Blue Dogs voted in favor of slapping tariffs on virtually all goods from China, and over 3/4 of them opposed a free trade agreement with Colombia back in April 2008. So as you can see, McStupid was just using that as an excuse. Oh, we'll blame it on the Blue Dogs. Yeah, it was the Blue Dogs that ruined America. And as you can see, when you actually examine the issues in detail, somehow you'll see that Kathleen was just parroting that line. You got caught again, Kathleen. I accept your concession on that one as well. Now to our last piece of business. The pretend doctor uploaded a cut and paste video featuring the overweight Ed Schultz commenting on the incandescent light bulb ban. Most of the non-doctor's videos are cut and paste. It takes little skill to copy a rant off the internet. One point I will agree with, there were many Republicans who voted in favor of the energy bill that banned the incandescent light bulb, and now are attempting to capitalize on anger against it. Why did you vote for it in the first place? They didn't read the bill. That happens all too often. Major legislation is passed, but most of those who voted for it don't really know what was in it. And we see this all the time. Ed Schultz's flabby jowls were bouncing around as he proclaimed these CFL bulbs last up to, and that's the key word, key phrase, up to 10 times longer. The bulb you see on your screen, however, doesn't even claim to last up to 10 times longer, but up to 8 times longer. It depends on the type of bulb you buy. I'd have to ask the non-doctor mccainisthroughx, if there are no dangers from these bulbs, why do numerous government websites post these detailed steps to clean up a broken CFL, which is a lot different than cleaning up a broken incandescent, which just requires what you use on your job, Kathleen, a broom and a dustpan, and you throw it in the garbage. Are they over-regulating? If so, that would refute many of your arguments on other issues, Kathleen. I doubt she'll use that argument. She'll end up painting herself into a corner. The National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences website says, today's CFLs underscore mercury's volatile vapor form, which is still a significant health concern. Ventilation reduces but does not eliminate this toxicant. Mercury vapor inhalation can cause significant neural damage in developing fetuses and children. I wouldn't use the term fetus, but I digress. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has established a level of 300 nanograms per meter cubed as the safety threshold for prolonged exposure to the poisonous gas. Some states, though not the federal government, have also established a safety threshold for a one-time acute exposure to mercury vapor. California, the People's Republic of California, for example, has established that any level of exposure over 1,800 nanograms per meter cubed has potentially harmful health effects. A study from the Maine Department of Environmental Protection discovered that upon breakage of a CFL, mercury vapors can rise with short excursions over 25,000 nanograms. Researchers in the study broke 45 bulbs in a variety of flooring surfaces and then studied lingering gas levels after a variety of cleanup techniques. The results contradicted a number of commonly held thoughts on CFLs. For example, though proponents of CFLs often argue a single bulb only contains 5 milligrams of mercury, the study found it was an average. The bulbs actually range from 0.9 to 18 milligrams of mercury. Though the EPA's Energy Star program recommends placing a broken bulb in a glass jar with a metal lid or in a sealed plastic bag, the study discovered mercury vapor leaches right through plastic bags. Of the 12 different types of containers tested during the 23 different tests, the plastic bag was found to be the worst choice for containing mercury emissions, researchers stated. Based upon this study, the Maine Department of Environmental Protection now suggests that a glass container with a metal screw lid with a gum seal be used. So if there's no danger, Kathleen, why all these precautions? You're an idiot. Though the Energy Star guidelines suggest ventilating a room for 15 minutes, and you really have to do that with an incandescent. Oh wait, you don't. Never mind. Ventilating a room for 15 minutes before attempting cleanup, the study found that in every case, even in well-ventilated rooms, it took over an hour to drop mercury levels below the EPA safety standard. And for cleanup on carpets, the Energy Star guidelines suggest vacuuming and disposing of the dust bag. The main study, however, discovered that vacuuming served to simply stir the vapor into the air and irreversibly contaminate the vacuum. The researchers, acknowledging it was inconvenient, recommended only one course of action for broken bulbs on carpet: remove the carpet. That's convenient. Again, with all the warnings we're hearing from the EPA, the Maine Department of Environmental Protection, the Energy Star program et al., how can one conclude there is no risk, as the pretend doctor says? That's hardly the case. The non-doctor uncritically accepted a rant from the overweight Ed Schultz. Are we noticing a trend here? McStupid is certainly a protectionist. Does she know that General Electric's share of the light bulb market went up substantially with the passage of that 2007 energy bill? Does she know that the most of GE's production of CFLs is in China? You just undermined your own ideology, Kathleen, via a stupid government mandate. See the two videos on your screen going by. Most government mandates to help us save energy are a flop. The EPA's Energy Star program is a joke, and those low flush toilet mandates, as well as mandates for more energy efficient washing machines, failed too. See those videos for more examples of failed government environmentalist mandates. Another problem with these CFLs, it's highly unlikely that you will actually get the number of hours out of a bulb as specified on the package. Another reason many of them do burn out prematurely is because of short cycling. These bulbs need at least 10 minutes to warm up, at least. If they're in a room where you tend to turn them on for less than 10 minutes and then turn them off, they'll burn out much earlier. If they're outside, say a porch light, and it's winter, that will also zap them much quicker. Kathleen didn't know any of this because Ed Schultz gave her a 2-minute generalized answer, just what she wanted to hear. Kathleen isn't much for details. The London Telegraph also found that these 11-watt CFLs advertised as being the equivalent of a 60-watt incandescent. The test they ran on the amount of light these CFLs give off, even after a 10-minute warm-up, was not even close to your traditional 60-watt incandescent. Europe is further along in their light bulb ban, and as incandescent bulbs are being eliminated, CFL prices are spiking there. It will happen here too. Another contributing factor will be coming legislation requiring manufacturers and counties to have sites to drop these bulbs off at. Prices are going to rise. Be prepared for that. Here's something that won't surprise you. In spite of supporting regulations that will force all Americans to switch out old light bulbs for more expensive new ones, the good old incandescent bulb will be illegal starting next year. It seems that the Department of Energy itself finds that it's too much trouble and too expensive to adopt the latest energy-saving technologies. An audit of 96 buildings by the department's Inspector General reveals, for the most part, sites either did not use or made limited use of innovative lighting technologies developed in the department's research laboratories. The DOE is not even availing itself of the technologies that, as part of its mission, helped create. The primary impediment cited was a lack of resources. In other words, the energy savings were too expensive. Our own Department of Energy can't fulfill the mandate handed down by Congress and signed by George W. Bush. Not surprising at all. Our last piece of business will relate to pollution. The EnviroKooks wanted this mandate because they want to control your life and your choices. Aside from that, they cite that this will reduce mercury emissions from coal plants. We're already slowly moving towards natural gas for energy production. That has lower emissions than coal, despite this heavy-handed mandate from Congress. In addition, mercury emissions and pollution have been falling in recent decades, according to the EPA. According to the data, estimated annual emissions for 188 air toxics combined decreased 42% from 7.2 million tons per year in the baseline period 1990 to 1993 to 4.2 million tons per year in 2005. This downward trend resulted primarily from reduced emissions from stationary sources and on-road mobile sources. Between 1990 and 1993 and 2005, annual nationwide air emissions of mercury decreased from 246 tons per year to 103 tons per year, a decrease of 58%. The decline in mercury emissions is attributed primarily to decreased emissions from medical waste incinerators and municipal waste combustors. In 2005, coal-burning power plants were the largest anthropogenic source of mercury emissions to the air in the U.S., accounting for 51% of all domestic anthropogenic mercury emissions that year. Despite increased demands for energy, even coal-related mercury emissions have been fairly stable since the early 90s. The best point estimate of annual anthropogenic U.S. emissions of mercury in 1994 to 1995 is 158 tons. Roughly 87% of the emissions are from combustion sources, including waste and fossil fuel combustion. Past uses of mercury, such as fungicide application to crops, are also a component of the present mercury burden in the environment. One estimate of the total annual global input to the atmosphere from all sources, including natural, anthropogenic, and ocean emissions, is 5,500 tons. Based on this, U.S. sources are estimated to have contributed a paltry 3% of the 5,500 tons in 1995. Mercury is widely used in industry because of its diverse properties and serves as a process or product ingredient in several industrial sectors. However, industrial demand for mercury has declined about 75% between 1988 and 1996, due largely to the elimination of mercury additives in paints and pesticides, and the reduction of mercury in batteries. Mercury emissions were declining long before this mandate. So in closing, there's a plethora of other points that the non-doctor mccainisthroughx has made, and she is completely wrong on. She specializes in generalization. And I think that's why she's blocking almost any. In fact, I can't find a comment on her channel that actually opposes her. She's blocking any opposition, which she can do. That's fine. I mean, it's her channel. But she's been caught so many times, and At one time, she would debate people on other channels. She's kind of stopped doing that because a number of people have saved her comments and used it against her. So again, we have mccainisthroughx making generalized assertions. Whenever she says something, call her out on it, make her provide references, but she won't do a detailed debate because she's afraid she'll get nailed. And I eagerly await for your response to this one too, Kathleen. You haven't responded to my first video. Now you've got this one to respond to. You've got a lot of work to do, little lady. Get to it, and good luck. You will need it.